like attaching rockets to a car, right? The car has to still be pointed in the right direction of where you want it to go. Someone's got to be steering the car, because without it, you're just going to whiz around in circles.
Anyone starting dropshipping now, they can do what would take me a few hours in a few minutes, thanks to the right tools with AI. So it's an exciting time, definitely, and a huge opportunity.
Imagine what that's going to do for your business. It's like having a product expert virtual assistant who never sleeps, who works every day of the year and knows more than you about the business and can answer 100 customers within a second all at once.
Well, it's replacing the really skilled roles instead of just the low-skilled, repetitive, automated tasks.
The world of e-commerce will almost be unrecognizable from what we used to create, these like static landing pages that were the same to everybody, that just gave a cardboard cutout buying experience. Like, how primitive was that?
We can now use AI as a bit of a reason, as an answer to how they can still get started in dropshipping without worrying about the time and effort that it will take.
AI is not the future. It's now, it's the present, it's happening. If you're not adopting it, then you are going to get left. Welcome to the Dropship Unlocked Podcast, your key to unlocking the secrets of high-ticket dropshipping. I'm Lewis Smith, founder of Dropship Unlocked, and with me is our client success coach, James Eardley. Now, when we're not recording podcast episodes, we're running our own e-commerce businesses and helping aspiring entrepreneurs launch their own high-ticket dropshipping businesses. So if you're ready to learn how to build your own 6 or even 7-figure business, pick up a copy of my book, The Home Turf Advantage, whether you're looking to replace your income or launch a side hustle. I wrote this book as a roadmap to help you launch a low-maintenance, high-profit e-commerce business that gives you the freedom to spend more time with your family, travel the world, and work on your own terms. Ready to join us? Visit htabook.com to get your copy today. Now sit back, relax, and let's unlock your potential with the Dropship Unlocked podcast.
So, Lewis, AI is the buzz topic at the moment for many reasons, but how important and how much of a change and impact is it going to have on the dropshipping businesses that we see out there in the UK today?
Yeah, well, AI is absolutely transforming a lot of the manual tasks that we would have had to do at the old-fashioned way originally and traditionally into a much more automated and efficient way of operating. So specifically in the sphere of dropshipping, the world that we are immersed in, many of the tasks are being automated, which were once manual and would take us hours to achieve ourselves, kind of going through step by step. So not leveraging AI, I think at the moment, is really just leaving money on the table. So this is not a negotiable. This is something that we are going to have to embrace as entrepreneurs to remain at the forefront of this huge technological wave and advancement that's happening, which is great if you embrace it and you're willing to learn and adapt, which is something that we're usually very good at as entrepreneurs. So in today's episode, we'll try and cover around how we're doing that, what we're seeing happening in our communities, and some of the exciting things on the horizon as well with AI. So I think it's creating a huge opportunity for people to really capitalize on it, who are ahead of the curve and who are paying attention to these advancements ahead of it getting out to the general public. We've all been in that situation where you're using something, for example, like ChatGPT. We were early adopters. We were using it in the business for a long, long time. And then suddenly it becomes the topic of conversation with your uncle at the Christmas dinner table, right? Or, someone like your taxi driver starts talking to you about it. It's almost like by the time it reaches mass adoption and everybody starts getting in on it, it's not too late, but you've lost that early fast mover advantage, right? And so that's what we want to do. We want to really be at the forefront of what's happening. What can we do to set ourselves and our businesses up for success in the long run by adopting this technology and embracing it and harnessing it, using it in our businesses to achieve efficiency that we just wouldn't have been able to even 6 months ago. So it's moving incredibly quickly, and I'm really excited by it. So I think the way I look at AI at the moment, because like you say, it is the buzzword, it is the buzz topic. Everyone's just kind of tacking AI onto something that they're doing and making it sound like it's a brand new thing. But AI is I think of it like attaching rockets to a car, right? The car has to still be pointed in the right direction of where you want it to go. Someone's got to be steering the car, because without it, you're just going to whiz around in circles, spend your life on TikTok looking at these cool filters and AI and ways that aren't going to really enhance your productivity or bring you any results or success, and you're not really going to get anywhere. Whereas if you have a clear direction, you know where your business is going, you're steering the car and you attach rockets, it can supercharge your results and your efficiency. So I remember back in the day when I first started my e-commerce businesses back in 2017, I think it was, I remember having to come up with ideas for the types of content that we'd feature on our blog. And we'd be thinking, okay, so if we're going to try to rank organically for certain keywords in our markets, then we've got to create content marketing. And then we'd have to go out and pay a content writer, or originally I'd just write the articles myself. But now we can feed data from tools like SEMrush. We could do like a gap analysis to figure out, well, what are the keywords that have a lot of volume or have good volume, but maybe there's a bit of a gap there in terms of content available to rank for those keywords. And we can plug that data into an AI tool, something like Claude or Bard or ChatGPT, any of these large language models, and we can use it to then give us ideas around those keywords and that topic gap analysis, and just give us the inspiration and the structure. You know, I'm not saying we put it in and just say, okay, write us an article and then that's it, that's all we have to do. I think we still have to take the approach, or certainly we are taking the approach of personalizing it to ensure that it's still created by a human. You know, we can use the tools to enhance the content and provide structure, but if we get lazy with this, I think there's a potential naivety among the early adopters sometimes where we think that if these tools are intelligent enough to create content like this from scratch, I think we'd be pretty delusional to think that they aren't clever enough to then be able to detect it. Even if you use clever paraphrasing tools like Quillbot and say, oh, no, but I've hidden it, I've rephrased the sentences. You're tempting fate, in my opinion, if you just rely on AI to generate all your content. And then we've heard it before in previous eras where you get a big Google update and then your business just gets a Google slap because it was all AI generated content, it was all detected, and you lose all your rankings and you're kind of back to square one. So we don't want to get lazy in that sense, but that's not to say that these tools shouldn't be able to enhance what we as humans do, because they really can. We just need to lead the way with them.
Yeah, that's a brilliant way to look at it. And it took me a while to realize that. I think a lot of the news coverage perhaps talk about AI as this thing that's come in, which is going to take over from humans. But the way that I like to perceive AI instead is that it amplifies humans. So if we can use AI in the right way and use it in a way that's not expecting it to do everything for us, it can amplify the amount of output that we can create and make us build better businesses, better content that we create as well. And it can really help us out in terms of whichever goals that we're going after. So hopefully it's exciting. When you talked about your previous stories, it reminds me to when I first started my dropshipping business and laying out a content strategy and writing blogs myself on a Saturday morning, spending hours doing that. And now the exciting opportunity that is AI, for anyone starting dropshipping now, they can do what would take me a few hours in a few minutes, thanks to the right tools with AI. So it's an exciting time, definitely, and a huge opportunity that I'm hoping we can get across to people in today's episode. But let's talk specifically about some of the tools that are out there that we'd use for a dropshipping business. Could you give us some recommendations or some of the tools that you use, Lewis, for your businesses?
Yeah, I think the danger with this is we give recommendations now, and in 6 months they're old news. You know, there's like anything, when you create a piece of content, it's just going to be out of date ultimately. But I think the thing to remember is I like to take this back to basics. And you know, when you were at school and you were originally primary school, you learn maths, right? You learn the very basic, the sums, the subtractions, addition. But then when you reach senior school and they ask you to go and get one of those scientific calculators, always remember, bringing the scientific calculator into school, we'd all been advised to buy the same model, the same one that we could then use in exams down the line. And once they show you then how to use that scientific calculator to solve really complex equations, you realize this thing's going to enhance my capabilities, right? But unless you'd learned the basics first, you'd always be limited in how you could even use that thing, right? So it's that's where we are now with AI. It's like we have the same AI tools coming through for e-commerce as one another, but unless we understand the basics and kind of the core principles of what makes an e-commerce business successful, then the AI tools are like giving a calculator to someone who just has no idea of the concept of maths, right? So we've got to make sure that we're really focused on kind of what moves the needle and not just get distracted by the shiny new AI tool that comes out. But I mean, there is literally an AI tool at the moment for every single task. And I think sometimes the AI label gets, say, generously applied to some software, whereas maybe even not that, essential to have an AI component to it. But for example, there's things like inventory management apps now for marketing. So a way of keeping track of your stock. If you're using the Home Turf Advantage model that we have, you might have 7, 8, 10 different suppliers, and all of them might have different ways of providing you with stock updates. Now, historically, that would have been quite a time-consuming task that maybe your virtual assistant would have done once a week and go through and update all the stock from the different supplier portals or however they send you the stock, if it's a CSV file, spreadsheet that comes through. Now, with AI apps, you can, there's lots of them, but you can just plug those things in and the whole business inventory can be updated in the click of a fingers once you set it up. So that's a great one to be able to remove a human element from the business that's just not essential, so that we can deploy that in better resourceful ways. And some other really good developments in AI would be things like ad attribution tracking, or even just general attribution tracking, whether it came from an ad or social media or an organic search listing or whatever it would be. So tools like Triple Whale now, which is a great tool for ad tracking and attribution tracking within Shopify, are fantastic, that they're able to kind of give us a big picture and use AI to really tell us the story of where every sale came from and originated from, so that we can deploy more resources back into that channel and really boost our sales and our profitability. So we'll do a whole separate episode, I'm sure, on tools like Triple Whale, because that's an incredible addition to our businesses, gives us so much more visibility. There's lots of great tools as well that we already use that now just have an AI feature or element baked into them. So Shopify Magic, which was an incredible update from Shopify, where now you've got this kind of AI tool within Shopify that can help create us better product descriptions or better landing pages, or we can even ask it to just do things for us, like upload a product or write us a structure for a blog post, like I mentioned. Even customer service tools like TDO or Intercom, if you're looking at just like live chat, or a more kind of comprehensive customer solution like Gorgias for customer support. And we'll link all of these below. And like you can use AI to feed it the knowledge of your store. So like all of your FAQ library, all of the customer questions you've had, even like the email inbox of questions that you've ever had, so that it has a library of information and can answer a live chat instantly, 24/7, 365 days a year, with the correct answer to get that sale closed. Imagine what that's going to do for your business. It's like having a product expert virtual assistant who never sleeps, who works every day of the year and knows more than you about the business and can answer 100 customers within a second all at once. It's just like, when you think of it like that, these are incredible advancements that we want to be on the forefront of, right? So that's a really big one. I think when it comes to marketing and specifically email marketing, Klaviyo have an AI element baked into their software now, which is amazing. So that can kind of suggest and compose new marketing campaigns for us, so we can use it to guide us on, well, what do we think within our niche, within our market? What would be the best way to bring customers back after they abandon their cart? What would the messaging be? What would the subject lines that are proven across millions of other stores to get the highest click-through rate and open rate? What should we use for that? And it kind of takes the guesswork out of it. Of course, you still test, you can still split test them, but getting those ideas generated is like having a marketing expert on our team who can just advise us on best practice. So that's a really good one. It can even compose suggested responses. And I mean, talking of that, in Google Workspace now, so things like Gmail, you've got the AI Composer feature, which can read the email that's come in from the customer or the supplier and suggest a series of different replies to your virtual assistant, who's usually going to be the one answering these questions, which then reduces the burden on our customer support virtual assistants, so that they can be way more efficient with their time and do things that currently only a human can do. So I think all of these tools are amazing. Some of the tools that we used to use already have now just been supercharged and had the rockets attached to them, as by having AI injected into their software. But it's still like the fundamentals remain. It comes down to us as business owners and leaders to use and deploy these tools in the correct way to get the most out of them.
That's right. And as business owners, we need to have the direction that we set for our business to go in. So we still need to do the fundamentals, get good quality suppliers, good quality products. We can't rely on AI for everything. We can't rely on AI to build a relationship with a supplier, for example. But think about every stage that we go through as we build an e-commerce business now. There's almost certainly an AI tool that can really help us out with that. Recently, I've been testing an AI tool called Browse.ai. And that is what you were talking about there, Lewis, one of those tools that can check the stock or the prices that your suppliers are advertising their products for. And it will send us an email for our VAs to pick up if there's any changes to the stock conditions or any changes to the prices. So instead of them having to manually go out and check, we'll now receive emails into the inbox whenever anything changes, so that it's very quick now for us to be able to keep everything up to date. So although those sort of tools might not sound the most exciting, the overarching benefit that we're getting is any automated or repetitive task that you're doing at the moment can be replaced by an auto tool through AI. So it's an exciting time, and hopefully you can sort of tell that I'm excited about the advantages for people getting started now compared to when I started in dropshipping a few years ago. So again, could you recommend any tools that are specific for Shopify store builders?
Yeah, I mean, there are some, they're maybe not specific for Shopify store builders, but they will certainly be helpful for them and anyone else who's building an online business. I mean, it's the large language models, it's the ChatGPT, the Google Bard, the Claude, things like that. They're all brilliant systems in their own right. Some have advantages over others, but they can be incredible, both in terms of the automating of content creation, but even to act as like an advisor, a business strategist, depending on the quality of the prompts that you start the conversation with and the context that you provide it. You can say, you are a world-renowned e-commerce strategist and expert. I've hired you to be my advisor to help me build my e-commerce business and talk me through the steps and to coach me both financially, business-wise, and also emotionally throughout the journey of building a business. I'll be asking you questions daily on how I should grow the business and what the strategy is, and feeding you the results I'm getting from the campaigns in the business. And your role is to guide me through the process of launching, right? Imagine having that at your fingertips now to be able to launch a business. It's incredible. So yeah, I mean, AI is going to supercharge the results of people that are harnessing it in the right way. And it takes the repetitive tasks off our plate if we use it correctly, so that we can really focus on the strategy. We mentioned Shopify Magic, so Shopify's AI tool that's been put into all of the different features within Shopify. So email marketing campaigns, text messages, subject lines, content, send time recommendations. So, they might say, well, the best time to send an email based on your email list's general open rates are 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. So, okay, we'll send it at that time. Even Sidekick now. So Shopify's got a tool that they've put in that's an AI-enabled assistant that now assists us as entrepreneurs in growing the business. So we can literally say, like, show me a report on whether we get more buyers from desktop or mobile, or show me a report that shows me, like, geographically where the majority of our customers are based, or how should I think about structuring a product page to ensure optimal conversion rates, or can you create me a new product and give me the layout of it so that I can create an optimal product description? Like, these things, you would have had to originally have like an e-commerce consultant on your team to be able to advise you on how to do that. So it's a complete game changer for e-commerce. And I think with the right strategy in place, if you have a proven business model and you know that those are kind of the parameters in which you want to build your business, and you have the guide on like how to actually set it up, you can use these tools to just enable you to continue along that path. Now, the danger is sometimes they don't have the full context. So if you're going into it blind and you're just asking that to build your business, it's not quite there yet from what I've seen. And, that's where you might run into trouble if you let it drive. But that's what I was saying, if you just put the rockets on the car and there's no one in the driver's seat, you don't know where it's going to go. But if you're there driving, steering as the leader of your business, that's when you can really get amazing results. But it is on us to know the direction still at this stage. So the other tool that we used to use a lot in a much more manual way, but now it has an incredible AI feature, is Canva. So Canva being just a free online design creation tool that you can use. They now have their magic design feature, which I think is coming out of beta soon. And it's just an AI-powered design generation tool. Just lets you put in any media from your current business, so your logo, your color scheme, some sample text, and it transforms it into this customized template to match your brand's theme, but also in any format you want. So you might say, I want some banners for my website, or I want a header for my email campaign, or I want a footer that works well on an email. And it just creates it in seconds, and it looks like a world-renowned design team have put it together. So really incredible if we can use these things and train our team to use these things as well, so that they can get the most out of it. That's the ultimate leverage.
That's the next level of leverage. It's not just using AI yourself to simplify all of the tasks that you used to do, but using AI for the tools and the tasks that your team uses. So that's the second level of leverage that you can then use. So you can step back, train the team to use AI, and suddenly the output of the whole business can be doubled or multiplied by 10 even, or more, just based on the tools that we can use. I think initially when I came across AI, my initial reaction was, this is going to be brilliant to replace all of the repetitive and manual tasks that are low skilled. But actually what came across recently, and what I've learned, especially with the things you mentioned there, Lewis, is actually AI can be so much more than replacing the low skilled tasks. It can really help you with creating content strategies or advising you as an e-commerce assistant. And it can give you the really high level side of things as well. It's replacing the really skilled roles instead of just the low skilled, repetitive, automated tasks. So there's a gap within your business somewhere that can be filled with AI. And I think these gaps get made obvious to you as you get up and running. You don't need to have all these tools on board from the start, but you start to see where things are breaking or where things can be improved. And that's where you would slot in an AI tool. And that's how I've looked at my business, and generally just been adding AI tools to it as and when I can see a big opportunity for optimization. So one objection we see to people that might not be ready or willing to start their own dropshipping business, and it can really hold them back, is they're conscious about how much time it's going to take to build a dropshipping business. So we can now use AI as a bit of a reason, as an answer to how they can still get started in dropshipping without worrying about the time and effort that it will take. So how do you see AI's role in reducing the amount of time and effort it takes to grow one of these businesses?
Yeah, it is a concern that we do hear a lot of the time from people who are considering starting, but then worry about the amount of time that it might take. And I think the thing I would suggest is, before we even talk AI in that frame of mind, would you rather spend 6 months of hard work now, of spending loads of time building a business, in exchange for never having to work a 9 to 5 again, being able to go on holiday whenever you want, wherever you want in the world, and having the ultimate freedom over your time, location, and flexibility and autonomy? I mean, I know what I'd rather do, right? So I think you have to be willing to front load that input of time in any business if you want to achieve long-term, life-changing success. But with the addition of AI now into your business, and it becoming so user-friendly as of late, and you can use it now in such a focused and specific way to get specific tasks done that can really speed up the process of you starting your business. So I think if you know what you want to achieve, you now have an expert on your side to help you achieve it, which is so powerful. And not only that, embracing AI now not only saves you time, but it sets your business up for success in the future. Because this isn't just a trend. This is the genie's out the bottle, as they say. It's not going away anytime soon. So it's a fundamental shift now in how businesses operate. And we'll look back on this in years and think like, oh, wow, yeah, that was when like the majority of people weren't using AI in their business. Eventually, it will be commonplace. But right now, we're ahead of the curve. In 2023, we are able to capitalize on this new emergence of AI within the business. So the access to the tools has now been democratized, because everybody has access to these tools. A lot of them are free, right? So the productivity and efficiency capabilities that these tools give are now fair game. Like, everyone has them. The playing field is level, but it's how you use it that matters. I was with a friend the other day who has purchased himself the ultimate spec MacBook Pro. So the 16-inch maxed out, cost something like £6,500. And incredibly successful business owner, but just didn't know what he was doing on the device. And I think that it just shows that it's not necessarily like the device itself is probably complete overkill for what he needed it for. Whereas there are other people online who have a basic £100 Chromebook, who are building software, who are creating YouTube channels, who are launching e-commerce sites, and they have the most basic kit, but the fundamentals they have in place, right? So it's kind of the same with AI. It's not about who has access to the tools, because very soon we all will have access. It will be completely democratized. It will be about what you do with them that counts. harnessing them, embracing them, because everyone will have rockets on their car, but it's those who are steering and using it to drive in the right direction that will succeed.
And ultimately, we'll see the winners as the people that know the strategy that they're following and can just use AI to enhance that. You have to have the basics right. You can't just rely on AI to get you to the destination you want to get to. There's still the strategy that you need to have in place. Whenever growing any business that you want to grow, you can just use AI to enhance that, but it won't do it all for you. So we know that AI is here to stay, but what sort of future trends do you see with AI that dropshippers should be aware of?
Well, AI is just getting smarter every day, right? So soon it may even be possible to personalize a website experience in real time for people. We're seeing some incredible tools emerge now that are using AI to detect the behavior and the buying pattern and the preferred browsing modality of a certain individual, so a specific person, and in real time putting in place the elements of that site and changing the browsing experience to optimize the way that that person is most likely to buy. Like, imagine when we're able to do that, it will be incredible. And the world of e-commerce will almost be unrecognizable from what we used to create, these like static landing pages that were the same to everybody, that just gave a cardboard cutout buying experience. Like, how primitive was that? We will look back on this. So I think as these tools emerge, we've got to stay at the forefront of them. And keeping up with AI trends, it won't be optional. If you want to stay relevant and stay in business, it will be essential for your competitiveness. But it's exciting, right? This is what we do as entrepreneurs. This is why I love it. And so getting around other e-commerce entrepreneurs so that you can keep up to date with what the latest developments are and hear about them months before the general public, before they start talking about it at the Christmas dinner table or your taxi driver starts telling you about it. It's making sure that we get that first mover advantage. That's what's going to really count. And that's where the most exciting opportunity lies as well.
Absolutely. If you can embrace it early, you'll be there then ready to accept whatever new tool comes out and whichever tool is going to make the most difference over the next few years. So initially, it's a change of mindset to embrace the AI tools that are out there and use them in a positive way to enhance your business. And then you're ready to capitalize. I know they talk about the event in the next few years where the actual capabilities of AI will be above and beyond what a human capability is. That event's coming up, I believe they sort of suggest in the next 2 to 3 years, which will be an incredible moment. And no doubt as entrepreneurs, we need to be able to keep up with that, embrace that, and be ready to use it to enhance our businesses and not be left behind. So for anyone out there that's a little bit hesitant about using AI and using it to set up a dropshipping store, what would be your advice to those people?
Yeah, I'd be happy to summarize my advice at this point. But what would be really interesting is on that point you just mentioned about, the event that's going to happen in a few years where AI will vastly overtake and be 1 billion times more intelligent than the most intelligent humans on Earth. It'll be so interesting to look back at this conversation in a few times and see how far we've come. So I'm under no illusion right now that what we're saying will be even relevant in a few years' time. That's how fast and how quickly things are moving. So we've got to make sure that we are remaining at that forefront. And yeah, it is exciting. So AI is not the future. It's now, it's the present, it's happening. If you're not adopting it, then you are going to get left behind. So the earlier you can adopt and embrace this into your business, the better. Some of these tools cost a bit of money, but don't see it as an expense. Like anything within a business that generates an ROI, it's an investment, right? So start now, even if it's just 1 or 2 tools that you take and you really want to get to grips with and start to use to enhance your output and your efficiency, the returns that you see on that investment will surprise you. And a lot of the tools are free, so you probably don't even need to pay for that many of them. It's just a time investment of actually learning them. Tools like Google Bard, completely free. You can just use that. And for a step-by-step strategy to start your own dropshipping business, pick up a copy of my book, The Home Turf Advantage, which is available today at htabook.com. Remember, we've talked a lot today about these amazing shiny new object tools that are going to supercharge and be the rockets on the car. But this book is the steering wheel. This is the strategy that's tried and tested and is timeless that you will need to know in order to be able to steer these tools in the right direction. Without this, you risk spending or wasting years of time using these AI tools, but getting nowhere with them because you're not directing them in a way that's going to ultimately lead to a sustainable, defensible, long-lasting business for you. So, and what's cool as well is once you purchase the book for the price of just a couple of cups of coffee, we'll invite you into a private community of hundreds of e-commerce entrepreneurs. So you can be around your tribe, you can learn and keep in the loop of the latest developments, including what's happening in AI, what tools people are using, and how they're using them to supercharge the results with their own e-commerce businesses. We call it our Launchpad, and you get access to that once you purchase the book. So if you'd like to learn every step necessary to build a thriving dropshipping business, pick up a copy of my book, The Home Turf Advantage, today. Just head over to htabook.com. Just a quick heads up, if you'd like to share your questions, stories, successes, or challenges, you can email us directly at podcast@dropshipunlocked.com. And you never know, we might even feature you on the next podcast episode.
Also, if you want access to today's show notes or any of the resources we've mentioned in the episode today, then head over to dropshipunlocked.com/podcast. We also have a small favour to ask of you. If you enjoyed the show so far, you could take a minute to leave us a rating and review on your podcast platform of choice.
You wouldn't believe how much your reviews help us grow the podcast. We'll even read out some of our favourites on the next episode. So if you want to be featured on the show, please do go ahead and leave us a review today. Thanks so much for your support. We really couldn't do it without you, and we absolutely love hearing what you think of the podcast.
So now we're going to answer a question from a listener, and this question has been sent in by Aaron. Remember, if you want your questions answered on the podcast, all you need to do is email us. It's podcast@dropshipunlocked.com. So that's exactly what Aaron has done to get his question in today. So I'll read out Aaron's question for you, Lewis. So Aaron has asked, "Hi guys, so I have my company set up with a bank account and online store, but I'm just wondering what the next steps will be before I approach suppliers. Do I need to register for VAT and self-assessment at this early stage?"
Thank you very much for the question, Aaron. So firstly, I guess we should give a full legal disclaimer. We are not accountants. This is not financial advice. So as with anything related to VAT or self-assessment, you should always seek professional financial advice before doing anything. But what I can do is tell you what I've done. And so hopefully that will help. So firstly, Aaron, congratulations on taking those essential first steps in getting set up and launching your own dropshipping business. That's probably the biggest thing, and the rest of it's just admin. So it's that's nice that you've taken that big first leap. So the first thing you asked about was VAT. So I didn't register my businesses for VAT until I reached whatever the current threshold is. So I think at the moment it's £85,000 turnover within a 12-month period. So that's sales revenue. That's the amount of cash into the business. Until then, I didn't feel it really made sense to register for VAT, so I just kept as much margin as possible within the business. So that's what I did. Regarding self-assessment, this is something that once I'd been paying myself from the business for a few months, so once I'd been extracting dividends, so my share of the profit as a shareholder, then after around 12 months, I would have needed to submit a self-assessment. So I would have approached an accountant probably within the first 5-6 months of me having it taken dividends from the company, just to make sure that when that 12-month deadline hit and the self-assessment deadline came up, the accountant was up to speed and everything could be paid accordingly. So I would set aside the correct amount of income tax to ensure that I had it there ready to go. Same with VAT. Once we were registered, I'd start accounting for VAT and make sure I had it in a separate account so that it was there every quarter when we had to pay it. In fact, I actually recorded a question and answer session with a specialist e-commerce accountant where I posed these questions to him and he answered the exact type of question that you're asking today, Aaron. So you can find that episode links in the show notes. So that should be helpful for you as well. But as I mentioned, for specific advice related to your personal situation, I'd recommend speaking with an accountant for their advice, because generally they'll offer you some free advice when you first reach out to them on the basis that you may then choose to use them to do your VAT returns and to do your self-assessment as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lewis, for the answer. Very helpful for any new business owner when they start to think about the different taxes that they might pay. So thank you for that. We're also going to highlight a review that we've had recently from a listener. And this review has come in from Sam. And the way Sam has left his review for the podcast is by entering what he thought of the podcast in the Q&A section underneath the Spotify episode. So if you listen on Spotify, you just go down to the Q&A section after each episode and you can leave your thoughts there. So that's what Sam's done. And Sam said, as a member of Dropship Unlocked, I can honestly say that these podcasts have been a great supplement to an already invaluable course and community. Some great knowledge bombs and tips for anyone listening. So thank you very much, Sam, for that review.
Yeah, thank you so much for your review, Sam. It means a lot to us that you enjoy these podcast episodes, and great to hear that you're using these as a supplement to the program material as well, to really immerse yourself fully into that world of e-commerce. So enjoy the program, and we'll continue to release these weekly podcast episodes. Enjoyed the podcast today? Leave us a review on your go-to podcast app, or drop us a comment on our YouTube video. You could even hear your thoughts on our next episode. And before we go, why not share this episode with a friend or a family member, especially if they're keen on business and interested in the power of AI. When you share, you help grow a community of like-minded people. So join in and share today.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Dropship Unlocked podcast. We hope you found the discussion both inspiring and entertaining.
If you're ready to begin your own high-ticket dropshipping journey, then here's what to do next. I've taken all of the years of my own experience, both in running my e-commerce businesses and teaching hundreds of others how to do the same, and I've condensed it all into my book, The Home Turf Advantage. It's your comprehensive guide designed to help you create your own e-commerce business. And you can grab your copy today at htabook.com.
Stay connected by subscribing to the podcast. This way you'll never miss an episode packed with valuable insights. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, please leave us a review. Your feedback motivates us, and we love sharing our favourite reviews on future episodes.
And thank you for deciding to spend your time with us today. We really appreciate you, and we look forward to sharing more high-ticket dropshipping insights with you on our next episode of the Dropship Unlocked podcast.